We're here for Preston and Key this week on a little series thing. We're talking about Stranger Things Season 4 coming right out.
Oh yeah, we're running up that hill.
We are running up that.
I had to.
Honestly, I forgot how good of a song that was. Like,
I was unaware, and
oh,
so
for
this was
real?
brand new to me.
It's a bop. It's a
It
certified
is.
bop. But yeah, I'm Mike, and this is Nick, and
Hello,
hello. And Pat is out gallivanting this weekend.
with young Daniel. If you remember him, fans of the show will remember Danny.
What did we call him in his memoriam?
Casual Dan.
Casual Dan.
Casual Dan.
So that's where he's at. But Nick and I are going to talk about over the course of three episodes we're going to do of us.
We're
talking
gonna
about
do
the
a
whole
our whole series, and Pat's just not gonna know about it.
season. It's going to be get ready for 6 hours worth of content, breakdown and cinematic analysis.
What's up, guys?
Smash that like button. But
Smash
actually,
that like and subscribe. Yeah. So we're gonna be getting into Stranger Things season 4 because I don't know about Mike. I don't know how you watch this, but couldn't I couldn't turn off the television. I had to keep watching, and I watched all of it in a day. Same thing I did with season 3, but I think this is the best season they've put out so far.
I think it's like by and far clearly the best season they've put out. And I think episode 1, like on its own, holds that level of like just being one of the better episodes of everything anyway for the season. But I watched it like 2 episodes in one sitting, and then pretty much the rest of it, and then the last episode. So kind of like over 3 sittings, but over the course of like 2-3 days.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely a captivating season. So yeah, we're just gonna do kind of our thoughts of the first 2 episodes.
yeah,
So
let's get right
how we
into
kick this
them.
off?
So we got episode 1, Hellfire Club. And we get to figure out where everybody's been. It's been 3 years since the last season came out or something like that?
Oh yeah, 3 years in real time.
In reality, so.
In reality, and 9 months in series time, and boy, have these kids grown.
They're all drinking that milk.
Yeah.
So we've got everybody.
Even before that, we get the flashback to Dr. Brenner, who I think I don't remember when it was the last time we saw him, but I definitely had a feeling that he'd be back, and it's kind of nice to just kind of like set it up with that flashback. It's like, all right, they're not showing us him just for this flashback. He's coming back in a big way,
which I hate because I hate his character. Like, and I know you're meant to hate his character, so they do a really good job with that. But it's just like,
yeah,
I'm just like, this guy can die. Like, everybody dies, but this guy can't die.
Yeah, but so yeah, we see some traumatic event in the Hawkins lab where everyone dies except for 11.
Every single person in this government facility is dead.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Brenner and 11, and that's where we get this whole front of the what did you do? What did you do? The whole guilt and confusion that kind of
the theme that carries through.
A theme for the rest of all of the season, which is a cool approach for it, which we'll get into in a bit.
I think have the other seasons had like a strong? I mean, obviously there are like themes that run through it, but I feel like this season alone has been very strong. Like trying to take on one subject, grief, guilt, all those types of things. It runs through every single episode.
I think that's why it makes it so much more of a comprehensive feel than I think the other seasons. I'm sure they had some red, like obviously there are red threads throughout the other things, but like this one has an emotional red thread, which I feel ties it way better than just like an action film or like because like season 3 was all about like that was what we're starting to get a little bit more horror-esque, but it was more still actiony, and now this one is fully playing off of like psychological emotional horror, which is just a cool way to, I think, elevate the series without making it go stale, and also not making it just another like Transformers just did
exactly
that kind of thing.
But so we get that flashback, and then as you said, we're reintroduced to the whole gang, catching up with where everybody's at, and then so with the crew who's still remaining in Hawkins, we get introduced to their new high school squad of D&D players, the Hellfire Club. and I don't know about you, but I just like I love Eddie. I think he's great, like great character. The rest of them, I was kind of disappointed how the rest of the Hellfire Club, the new characters, they didn't really get expanded upon. But
I think it's fine. I mean,
you
like,
already have a huge cast,
yeah, you
so
have there's a big cast, and you can definitely tell that. I don't think it struggles, but there's, like, there's work to balance all of the storylines going
yeah,
on, and it's like when you're dealing with that many, interweaving parts, I think it's fine they just added these other people. But I think
sure,
Eddie is such a good addition to the show and a good addition to everybody else, because you have those characters like Nancy, who are a little bit older and kind of playing that like role, and you have him in there juxtaposing that, still being like, well, he's like 20 something and he's still in high school because he keeps failing. And it's you get that kind of playful weirdness and everything, and
yep,
he's just a lot of fun.
yeah. Yeah, and it's nice to have a character who isn't like perfect. And I don't mean, not all our main characters aren't perfect, but I mean they pretty much, they're always doing the right thing and they may stumble sometimes and make the wrong decision, but for the most part they're very altruistic. Whereas Eddie, you know what I mean? Like you're given somebody who is, like he thinks he's hot shit, and then they show off his kind of more conflicted and maybe self-deprecating side, and like you said, he's failed, and so it's cool to see somebody who has more of a self-conflicted confliction, and you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I think too
um
with him, like later on, we'll talk about it in like later
yeah,
episodes and everything. But he's basically like, he's like no, y'all are brave. He's like, when stuff happened, he's like, I turn and ran. Like, he's very self aware of
yeah,
everything, even with his flaws and that. So it's not like you have that, like, the classic like, I'm gonna overcome my this and that, and like,
exactly,
it's a better approach rather than just like a stereotypical like simple hero character development.
exactly. So then we jump to California, the other half of the cruise in California.
California dreaming. Yeah, the whole
Yeah,
the whole first episode, basically, like, for most of it, is just obviously catching everybody up and introducing a couple new people. Um, Elle gives the overview of basically everything that's happened, everything that's been changing, whatever, through a little voiceover
yeah,
in all her
right, through a
letters.
letter to Mike.
Yeah, and
Are
like,
we showed at this point? She's kind of like reimagining the truth in her letters to Mike, right? She's kind of, making it all, sunshine and rainbows when it really hasn't all been that great for her.
I think so. I think this is where she's like, everything is good, everything's great. Like, I can't wait for you to be here, and it's,
Yeah, so
it's
we're starting to see, the seeds of some conflict going on between Elle and Mike, and how Elle is trying to, you know, just lie.
I do like, though, like, I think it's actually funny, and they bring it up a couple times, like, throughout everything, where it's like, like, oh, we've fought monsters, we've saved the world, we've done all of this, and it's just like, I really like the humanizing, like, but yeah, she's a kid and she's struggling with school and bullies and like that kind of things. It's
Yeah,
like she's literally killed people and
yeah.
like done crazy other things,
She's
but
gone to alternate dimensions.
high school is
High school.
the hardest thing that she's trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, but it's interesting because you get you get the setup where Al doesn't have her powers in this, and she's just being continually made like weaker and weaker, per se,
Yeah,
through being bullied, through all of this. So it's just like you're getting a lot of that, again, that insecurity with her that you're seeing coming through with the rest of the cast.
right. Yeah, and I don't know if there was any when she was going to school in Hawkins. I don't remember if there was any instances of bullying, but it definitely like it's showing off her inability to or her lack of certain social skills. You know what I mean? Like outside of her core group, she's not great at relating to other people around her, and like that makes her an easy target to bullies.
Which, I mean, she was a wolf child, essentially,
Yeah,
for however long, and then
yeah, raised in
she's
the
still had
wild.
to learn how to like speak and write and everything basically again.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's kind of like, just as a setup, I think it's like a really, really strong episode,
Hmm.
for like building all, like, getting everybody. It felt like one of those things where it just reintroduced every character, and it was a very like nostalgic, fun thing to bring everybody back. It didn't like, instantly outside of the flashback. Like, it was a feel good episode up until
Yeah.
it wasn't,
Well,
basically.
I mean, one thing we haven't even touched on that we get to see Lucas, who's now got a little bit of popularity in school, and who's rolling with a different crew, and
He's
trying
a
to
jock.
remake himself in high school,
Hmm.
which is interesting because the rest of the crew just wants to keep doing what they're doing.
Right, and like self-proclaim themselves as, like nerds and geeks and everything, and they're fine with
Yeah,
that, and they don't want to be popular. So you get kind of like, you just get like the very human and like logical, it's not like, it feels like these kids are actually going to school, and it's not
yeah,
like just being portrayed in like a TV show or something. Like, actual human issues is what they're facing.
yeah.
And again, I think that they did a really good job setting it up, because that is like the whole theme of the season, basically.
Also, to I like going back to what you were saying before, I think they did a really good job of balancing all the characters and what I would relate it to. I think I may have said this in a previous episode. Like the same thing with Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, where it's like they had a really hard job of balancing all these characters, and I think this episode did a great job of giving everybody just enough screen time to, nobody was really ignored and nobody was really given a spotlight. Everybody got their
Yeah,
10 minutes.
it was great too. And we didn't talk about Max yet, who
We haven't
obviously,
gotten
like,
to Max.
poor Max, everything that's going on, like everything that happened with Billy, she comes from like, a rough home life and everything with that. So, she's just clearly distraught. We're seeing her going to a guidance counselor, having headaches. It's just like, she's kind of distancing herself from the group, and she always had slightly, been a little more standoffish, but it's like, it's really playing up into this level.
Yeah.
So you are immediately seeing the characters. Like, I think she's a really good mirror for like, everybody else seems happy, everybody else seems like, not that they've moved on with their life, but it's like they went through like really traumatic shit. So like, she is the good mirror of, that's like the grounding, more pragmatic, like, you know we can't just forget about what we did, kind of, she's the
Yeah.
tether with that.
Constantly reminding us that these are people dealing with heavy shit.
Yeah,
It's not just kids in high school.
exactly. It's a fun parallel though, because it's like like it's like Mike and Will and all of them just like don't give a shit, it seems like, about like anything they've done in their past. They have that,
Yeah.
like, not a
Well,
hero
Max is also,
complex.
they've been dealing with it for a lot longer than Max has. So
They're just jaded. Like,
they're like smoking cigarettes is like same shit, different day.
I mean, and they do that. They basically talk about that like in episode 2, like when they go and they find Eddie later on. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think,
that's true. They're
yeah,
like, we've been around the block.
yeah, this ain't our first rodeo, kid. But
This ain't our first interdimensional monster.
no, we got plenty of them.
But also Joyce. We're reintroduced to Joyce, who receives a mysterious package from the motherland.
I do love that she conveniently works from home. And
Yeah.
like, it's such a like, hey guys, we're trying to be relatable. We know you were in a pandemic. Like, we're
Yep.
gonna tie this in, and she's
I
selling.
wonder, do you think that was a thing when they were in the process of like pre-production before COVID happened, or do you think it was like convenient, like a happy accident, or you're like, we're all working from home. Joyce is gonna be working from home.
I think it's the latter, because it
Yeah.
serves no other purpose than to just give her something to do before she gets the package. It's
Right.
like, like, you could have just had her again working like at a hardware store, or working,
Yeah.
like wherever. Like, it really doesn't matter. I think it
Yeah.
was just like a nice little like, we see you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Do we get anything else from Joyce other than we're shown what she's been up to and that she gets the package? There's really not a lot to say about what's going on in Joyce's world, but
nah, she seems like, at this point she seems like she's accepted Hopper's death,
mhm.
and that, like, she's continued with her life.
I mean, she's raising another. She got an extra kid
She
now.
got an extra kid. She's
They
staying a
got a
mother.
big ass house.
Yeah, I mean,
How do they afford that house
listen,
on a telephone encyclopedia salesperson's salary?
this was before like multi-level marketing exploded
Yeah.
and got like everybody involved arrested. It's like, you could actually
Yeah.
make money in it at this point. But
I don't know. It's a ridiculously big house.
I
But
know. Well, also too, I think they're definitely subsidized by some government kind of thing, because they talk about where it's like we relocated you,
Oh, you're right.
you
You're
know,
right. They were relocated by a shadow government
right,
agency,
by the deep state.
by the deep state. A young Hillary Clinton bought them a house in California.
You see
Um,
Jeffrey Epstein like
yeah,
mowing the lawn.
there's a picture of like him and Joyce like hugging. He's like, there's pictures of him with everybody else. There's definitely
Dr.
one with
Brenner, you know,
Dr. Brenner. Yeah, they're definitely
100%.
they could be related. You know, they got a similar look going
It's
on.
his cousin, just like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. He changed his name.
Yeah, deep state, baby.
Deep State.
And
They
then
can do that kind of thing.
they can do that. And then I think the biggest obvious, you know, craziest thing that happens in this episode is the very
Is
end.
that?
Is
Oh,
is what? What are you gonna say?
oh, I was gonna say that Nancy and Will aren't gonna see each other over the summer.
Oh, right.
Not Will. John.
John, or what's his
Nancy and Jonathan aren't gonna see each other over the
Jonathan?
summer.
Yeah.
But
And we
no,
learned
I
that
think
he
you're probably right.
loves marijuana.
He smokes some weed.
Yeah, I love that they did that with his character. It's just really stupid and funny, and
Yeah.
I think a really
That
good
was
way.
more of a like a 80s sitcom-y type of thing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
less serious and more of a trope. But it was fun. And do we meet Argyle in this episode, I'm assuming?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, because as Elle's reading the letter and she's like, he's smoking some funny grass or like some kind of thing. It's like he jumps out the window and he gets like Argyle in the
Yeah, so Argyle is his best stoner friend who works at the Pizza Planet.
yeah. That is 100% just like straight up like you said. It's like, look at this 80s sitcom character.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous. It's hysterical. It's also a good way to like give Jonathan like nothing to do, so they don't have to like, you know, give his character
Yeah.
more of a plot line.
Yeah, they just kind of let him be a rebellious teen. Is he still in his teens at this point?
I don't know. He looks like he's 45. That
Yeah,
actor
well, I
looks
mean, he
full of
always has.
himself.
He's kind of had those sunken eyes from the very beginning.
He's the one
But,
that's been holding all the weight of what's happened. in
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Lines.
It turns out this whole time Eleven's been redistributing everybody's trauma to Jonathan Byers.
That's why she can't use her powers.
Yeah.
It's 100% mental focus on just making it.
She's not even aware that she's doing it. It's like it's like breathing. It's just happening.
He's escaped into drugs as a way to deal with
Yes,
it all.
exactly. He's using drugs to escape. But it's like you said, the ending, we get an interesting scene between, we haven't talked about Chrissy, who is a cheerleader at the high school, and is making a drug deal with Eddie, who is our fun-loving
resident
D&D
drug dealer.
pot dealer, or yeah, I guess he sells more than pot, out in the woods, and they kind of have a nice touching moment before we get her ultimate demise.
Yeah, this is like Chrissy's introduced in that episode and killed in that episode, and
She's the Barb of this season.
she is absolutely the Barb of this season. And we start to see like this is where we start seeing kind of everything where it's kind of like, you know, she's definitely insecure. She's got like, you know, like she definitely had like an eating disorder and body image issues, and we're starting to see the supernatural elements of everything coming through with the clock, with her in the bathroom scene. It's like these all
scared the shit out of me. And like, I know it's supposed to be, again, like we're just, kind of reintroducing everybody, but when she's in the bathroom stall and you see the feet on, like in the door shaking, I was like, this is straight up horror. This is scary.
And I think like Max is the one that's in the bathroom and asks if she's okay. Mm-hmm. And like now looking back at it, you can see that that's a like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Which I think is super cool. But yeah, it's a great point. Like you start to see some like little drips and drops of things that are like pure horror in this episode. That's a big moment where you're like, oh, okay, we're committing to this. And then at the end of the episode, when she's trying to escape from her house in the upside down, like that is straight up a horror.
Yeah. Her dad's got what, like his
like
mouth is
Coraline
sewn
eyes,
shut. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his
Scary
mouth
shit.
sewn shut, everything. They're running around. The shots are crazy. The music's crazy. And then
Freddy Krueger vibe going on.
Oh, I didn't even. Oh, they do mention that, yeah, but like it is very Freddy Krueger-y.
Well, I'll mention this again later on in the episode, but there's a direct reference to Nightmare on Elm Street later on in the series, so they are 100% paying homage to it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. So
yeah, we see
we
she
get
gets murked.
we get her on-screen death, and we get an on-screen
Oh,
death that I did not
I
anticipate being that graphic,
yeah,
kind of right out the bat. But
her limbs being snapped in every different direction and her eyes imploded in the back of her head.
it's the jaw that bugs me, like the
Yeah.
whole like the dislocation, yeah, crunch crack of the jaw,
Crunch crack.
crunch crack.
That's my favorite companion cereal. Snap, crackle, pop. Crunch crack of the jaw.
Crunch crack. It's only sold in the South. Like,
Yeah.
so she dies, and she dies in Eddie's trailer because Eddie's giving her something.
Yeah.
He's giving her ketamine.
Special K. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Trying to give her some horse tranquilizers or some shit.
because she's so obviously distraught that she keeps seeing these visions, and she's like, I just want to check out. She's pulling a Jonathan. So
Yeah, she wants to get stoned. Also, the clock, the sound effect of the clock, such a good, like I mean, it's just a sound effect, but I mean, it's very effective.
oh yeah, it's a really good.
Yeah.
It's like equivalent. It's like got a heartbeat kind of sound, like vibe about it. That's like
Yeah.
just this
Or it's
pulsating.
it's almost like the Darth Vader breathing sound where it shows that the villain is right around the corner. When you hear that clock sound, you're gonna die.
Oh yeah, your time is coming.
Your time is coming.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
episode
episode
one.
1. So I mean, all in all, with that one, I think it's like I said, I think it's a crazy introduction to it. It would like gives you the warmth of bringing everybody back, the feeling of like you're right back in it, and then it instantly is just kind of like we're gonna get rolling,
Yeah.
and we're gonna start telling you the problem.
So, a parallel to this. So, I've been watching on and off. I've been watching Shameless. I know I'm late to the party, but one thing the pattern that I've recognized is that every season, you start off maybe not season one, but in the following seasons, you start off episode one. It's always like things are looking up for the whole everybody's doing good, and then
Everything's coming out
about
Millhouse.
episode 4 or 5. Everything starts going to shit, and then the season finale is the big kick in the balls episode where everything, it's like they're at their lowest point,
Right.
only for the next season to roll around and everybody's at another, it's like the summertime and everybody's doing good, and
It does always
whereas,
end like summertimey,
yeah, and everybody's like, at this high point now. Whereas this, it's like they give you a little taste of everybody's feeling good, and then throw you right back into we're in the thick of it.